15 Years Cybersecurity Career Journey, From Newbie to CISO and Startup Owner, by Piskunov. TLDR. A story of relentless self-learning, certifications, mastering different cybersecurity domains, malware, pentesting, DevSecOps, AppSec, and the mindset shifts that led me from a rookie in Irkutsk to launching my own tech startup. Updated. Version document 1.3, Sep. 2025. What is this article about? This isn't just my story, it's a roadmap. I'm sharing my journey, complete with proof and resources, to show you what's possible with dedication and to offer guidance for your own path. Why did I write this publication? This post does not encourage you to buy anything. I am not self-promoting. I do not need cheap fame, and I have nothing to prove to anyone. I remember myself 15 years ago, and I know how important support is at the start, during difficult moments, and at life's turning points. I want to show a real example through my own case of how a guy from a small Siberian town, from a poor family, and through difficult times was able to rise up, going from a hired entry-level employee to someone creating value and making a personal contribution to the world. Work pays off, dreams become reality. This story is like a spark in the darkness, a ray of light, a sip of motivation and inspiration in a cramped concrete jungle. Wherever you have been and wherever you started, you can achieve everything you allow yourself to imagine. I have done it. You can too. Teaser. Begin the great journey with me. Newbie-expert-manager-a-leader-startup founder. Take the best from my experience. Learn from my mistakes and failures. Don't give up, keep going, and you will reach your goal. Chapter 1. Who am I? Ivan Piskunov is a Russian and international cybersecurity expert, ethical hacker, IT blogger, book author, lecturer at several Russian universities, and distinguished guest at several American colleges. He has made a significant contribution to the information security industry in Russia in the 2010s. Since 2016, he has been a regular contributor to Hacker magazine. In the same year, he launched his personal blog on the Blogger platform, where he actively developed the topic of information security issues. His first publications on information security began to appear in 2014 on the anti-malware portal. In 2018, he launched his own Telegram channel, White2 Hack, dedicated to information security issues for a wide audience. After working for several years at various software development companies, he began working closely with Kubernetes, and actively immersed himself in DevOps security issues, resulting in the publication of his book, Kubernetes Security: Guide for Beginners from Zero to Hero, in mid-2021, written entirely in English. At the same time, he launched another author's blog aimed at the international community on Medium, and then on Dev.To and Security Exchange. Under Ivan's guidance, several students successfully defended their theses at the Irkutsk branch of Moscow State Linguistic University, 2014, and Moscow Polytechnic University, 2020. Chapter 2. My Career Journey. Phase 1. The Foundation, the Hungry Newbie, Start in Irkutsk. In 2005, I earned my high school diploma. That same year, I was accepted into a university to pursue a brand new degree program, Information Security Organization and Technology. It was a pilot program in Russian higher education, and my institution, the Salem Academy, was one of the first to offer it. After 5 years of intensive study, I graduated with a Bachelor of Science in Computer Science, finishing with a near-perfect GPA of 3.92 out of 4.0, the equivalent of a 4.9 on the Russian 5-point scale. And then my job search began. It was hell. For several months, I wandered around company offices, took part in competitions for civil service positions, but never received an offer. Was in high demand, so I took IT administration to earn some money and finally find my place. I realized that the knowledge I had gained at university was quickly becoming outdated, and technology was developing so rapidly that I had to constantly learn new things, literally every few months. I was able to get a position as a security systems administrator at an engineering and construction holding company. After a year, I was promoted to chief specialist, and shortly before leaving, I took on the responsibilities of head of the company's information security department. I looked at the profiles of successful people and copied their habits, mannerisms, and style of development. That's how I completed the Cisco CCNA course and received my certificate in 4 months. My employer then was able to train me through the MSCA discount program. As a student, my second higher education is a master's degree in economics. I was able to attend free training at ISACA, and I applied to join the Russian professional community RISPA. I bought books, downloaded articles, read blogs by well-known InfoSec experts, such as Alexei Lakatsky, and engaged in self-study. Later, I came to the conclusion that there were no prospects for my specialization in my hometown, and that I needed to move to the country's center, to the capital, a city of great opportunities, high salaries, new contacts, and vacancies at large companies. So I completed my journey to becoming an information security specialist and prepared to move to Moscow. Insights: graduating from university is not a guarantee of professional success. To be in demand, you need to constantly study, practice, and adopt the best practices of your colleagues. The first job is about learning and gaining experience, not prestige and high income. Until you become a creator of value, content, contribution to the community, take all the best from industry leaders. Copy their habits, lifestyle, and activities. Moving, relocation is a great boost for a successful start. Failures. In total, for the entire period described, I was out of work for several months. In 90% of all interviews, I received rejections or failed to answer questions. No matter what kind of expert you are, if your city lacks infrastructure, you are in little demand. Call to action. Move to a big city, a technology center, without wasting your time in a smaller town. Bet on self-education. Read blogs, forums, books, watch videos on YouTube, create your own labs for training. Phase 2. The specialist. Becoming a recognized expert, the Moscow leap. In 2015, I first moved to St. Petersburg, the second largest and most prestigious city in Russia, and then to Moscow a few months later. That's where I started all my key activities that helped me work my way up from the bottom, make a name for myself, and gain new opportunities. I continued to teach myself and, at the same time, launched my blog on the Blogspot platform. I went to interviews, learned about the requirements of the labor market in the capital, the style of communication, and the hiring process, which was significantly different from provincial cities. I applied to be a speaker at several major IT security events. I expanded my network of contacts and found a strong leader who gave me the chance to become a lecturer at a university, where I worked for a whole year and also participated as a mentor in the all-Russian, national, student competition among universities. I tried my hand at malware analysis, but when I didn't get an offer, I continued to pursue it as a necessary hobby. And in a few months, I was able to publish a whole series of articles in the largest e-magazine, DevSecOps. A year later, I became actively involved in penetration testing, set up VMs, ran various utilities, trained on simulators, and when I couldn't get through, I searched for clues on the internet. However, penetration testing did financially rewarding, but not that interesting to me. So I tried my hand at digital forensics, studied several books, and watched all the available videos on YouTube. At that time, my English was still poor, and most of the material I received was in English, which later proved to be very useful. I published another series of articles, the first comprehensive one in the Russian language segment of the internet. This attracted potential customers, and within a year and a half, I was able to complete several cases as a freelancer. But forensics was not in high demand, and the question arose of what to do next. I decided to enter a new niche at the time called DevSecOps, and in parallel with it, AppSec, which is now also known as Security Operations, SecOps. Stage 1. InfoSec Blogger. My first step in building my career was becoming a blogger, specifically a technical blogger. I launched my first platform to publish various analytical materials and useful articles. Essentially, I tried to share everything I would have wanted to read myself at some point. Later, I realized I could expand my reach and target the international market. So, I launched blogs on platforms like Dev.To and Medium, where I published content in English. This experience was a major contribution to my personal and professional growth. The process of writing itself became a deep learning experience. I am truly gratified that I can share my expertise and help people across different countries and continents through the power of the internet. Stage 2. DevSecOps Easing Author. I remember, even back in school, I was an admirer of Hacker magazine. It was the only Russian-language media outlet at the time that published content related to computer security and IT infrastructure in general. Later, at university, where I studied Linux, operating systems, and networking, my professors would actually send me to Hacker magazine to learn about security practices. Then, while working at my first job as an information security specialist in Irkutsk, I would get my hands on the magazine through friends and colleagues. I read it thoroughly, immersing myself in the material. It was incredibly engaging. Back then, I never even dreamed of becoming an author myself. In 2017, I reached out to the magazine's editorial board. They offered me a chance to join the team and become an author. I accepted, and I successfully launched several series of my own publications. I am incredibly proud to not only be an author, but also a member of the editorial board. Stage 3. Malware Researcher. While still in my third year of university, 2007/2008, I became fascinated with reverse engineering. At the time, there were very few learning resources available. Books were nearly impossible to find, instructional videos did not exist, and there were no visible specialists or experts in my city who could teach me. Therefore, I found a portal called CrackLab Studio, which had compiled the best available materials at the time. I ordered a DVD by mail, which contained textbooks, tutorials, various documents, samples, Crack Me challenges, and software used for reverse engineering, debugging, and disassembling, all essential for studying programs without access to their source code. This laid a solid foundation that I was later able to apply to reverse engineering malware in 2017. Stage 4. Penetration Tester. Another fascinating chapter in my career journey has been learning and practicing penetration testing. It's one of the most in-demand, well-known, and popular fields within cybersecurity. Often, people perceive cybersecurity solely through the lens of hackers breaking into systems, stealing data, and bypassing security measures. However, the reality is that cybersecurity is much broader, and significant effort is spent not just on exploitation, but also on defense. Fortunately, I started with Russian language materials and then moved on to English language sources, books, videos, and blogs by renowned pentesters. I set up virtual machines, and if I got stuck on a problem, I would watch walkthroughs, repeat the steps, and work through it again, all while taking detailed notes. I practiced relentlessly. Eventually, I built up a solid foundation of knowledge that allowed me to take on freelance assignments as a pentester, contribute expertise, and participate in red teaming exercises. I don't consider myself a professional pentester today, as I haven't worked actively in that field for over 5 years. Nonetheless, this phase was a major contribution to my professional development and career. The knowledge I gained is incredibly valuable and essential for any security professional. Stage 5. Forensic Analyst, DFIR. After conducting penetration tests in reverse engineering malware, I realized that digital forensics could be a particularly interesting field to explore. Again, at that time, there were very few educational materials available, so I had to seek out resources, typically English language books, followed by YouTube videos and expert blog posts, to learn the fundamentals of the craft. I set up virtual labs, launched virtual machines, studied case files, and practiced relentlessly. Eventually, I gained enough experience to be able to investigate and resolve certain cyber attacks and security incidents. I wouldn't say I became a super expert in the field, but I acquired solid, hands-on experience that proved valuable later on. I was able to complete several freelance assignments and successfully unravel the chain of attacks in those investigations. I later wrote about one of these cases for Hacker magazine. Stage 6. Speaker at events and workshop leader. Another integral part of my professional journey, and one that has significantly contributed to my success, is public speaking at various information security events. My first speaking engagements took place back when I was a university student in 2007, and then again after I earned my second degree in 2014. I began speaking regularly as a professional presenter in 2017. I successfully presented at several events, achieved a major milestone by speaking at a European International Conference in 2020, and submitted a talk for Black Hat USA in 2021. I continue to speak periodically at various cybersecurity events. Stage 7. University lecturer. During my university studies, I discovered a strong passion for creating and preparing my own lecture summaries and key point guides for the subjects I was studying, which I then shared with my classmates. In my second year, I had my first experience as a public speaker when I defended my semester project and received exclusively positive feedback. Later, I felt a growing desire to share knowledge, help junior colleagues and beginners, those just starting their journey, and to contribute to the field of cybersecurity and the learning process as a whole. This led me to become a university lecturer. At that time, my motivation wasn't financial. I was driven by the pursuit of status, the opportunity to be part of the university community, to help fellow students, and to establish myself as a public speaker. This early experience laid the crucial foundation for the continuation of my teaching career and how I later conducted commercial courses. It also played a key role in the publication of my brochure, which encompasses all the experience I accumulated over 10 years through both self-study and my formal university student teaching. Summary. ITGC SOX 404 Auditor. Understanding business risk and compliance was a game changer. University lecturer. Teaching others solidified my own knowledge. Insights. In most companies, employers, you are just an executive mechanism. To be able to influence a product/service, you need to grow not only in study and development of competencies require sacrifice. You temporarily give up rest, travel, time with friends and family. But if it gives tangible, visible results, then it is worth it. While you are young and full of energy, you can work more, sleep less, and get tired less. Use these advantages to create a solid background. One day, your results will work for you even when you are resting. Don't be afraid of rejections. Learn useful lessons from them. Shock and surprise, stand out from the crowd. Don't be afraid of other people's opinions about you. Your life is your rules and your scenario. Everyone once did something for the first time and did not have the knowledge or necessary experience. Don't be afraid to take long breaks in activities. Create through inspiration, not through coercion. Be 1% better per month, and you will be better than 95% of ordinary people. Take private orders. Don't be afraid of freelancing. Even failed projects are experience and the foundation of your quick success. Choose one or two key areas of your professional field and delve into them as deeply as possible. Having business connections is often more effective than professional competencies. Build your network. Failures. The excessive workload, self-study, 6-9 work 5 days a week, blogging, writing articles, launching a TG channel, etc., led me to burnout. I gave up writing articles and blogging for several months. The statistics are very harsh and true. Only 5% of the entire student audience were ready to invest in learning. The rest were half-hearted about it. No matter what you do, what quality lectures, workshops, or interactive classes you give, it is impossible to teach everyone. It is impossible for everyone to have high grades. And not everyone appreciates your work no matter how hard you try. If you take this to heart, it can lead to apathy and disappointment. The key is that if you helped at least one person change their life for the better, the goal is achieved. Call to action. Keep trying until you get there. People often stop one step away from success. Don't look at them. Watch yourself. Create content, blog, notes, forum, GitHub, video interviews, speaking at events. Leave your mark on history. Be a T-shaped person. Develop broad knowledge, the top of the T, but go deep in one or two areas first, the leg of the T. Share your knowledge. Start writing, even if it's just for your blog. It builds reputation. / added material / paying it forward, building the White-2 hack community. The drive to distill complex topics into digestible knowledge has always been at my core. What started as crafting study guides for classmates in university evolved into writing professional articles for IT media outlets by 2012 and launching my own blog by 2016. When Telegram emerged as a powerful communication tool, I knew I had found the perfect home for a new project. In 2018, I launched White-2 Hack as a passion project to share supplemental materials for my university lectures. It quickly took on a life of its own. Today, it's a thriving, organic community of over plus 12,000 subscribers, built without any paid promotions or bots. It's my labor of love for the InfoSEC community. I use the channel to pay it forward, sharing everything from my own CTF solutions, deep dive guides, and career advice to industry memes and curated news on jobs and internships. It's a mix of hardcore tech and career hacking, all delivered with a personal touch. The energy and camaraderie in our associated discussion chat are incredible. It's a real tribe of passionate geeks. Beyond being a rewarding side project, White-2 Hack has been a cornerstone of my own growth. It served as the testing ground, the proof of concept that ultimately paved the way for my broader vision of building a platform dedicated to holistic professional and personal development. It's a testament to the idea. Phase 3. The evolution, shifting left, DevSecOps engineer, AppSec handler, SEC champ, and later a product security manager. This stage of my career journey is probably one of the most intense and important. I grew qualitatively as an expert, entered a new market niche at that time, DevSecOps. I finally began to speak and understand spoken English, read original documentation and newly published books. I was able to continue my public activities and speak not only at Russian, but also at international IT/CyberSec forums and events. I became an expat. I did several projects for an American company as a freelancer. This laid a solid foundation for my further growth as a professional and forward movement in my career and in terms of immigration. Stage 8. DevSecOps Master. The first release of Kubernetes was on June 7, 2014. The term DevOps was coined a few years earlier, in 2009 in Belgium. I noticed the first DevOps vacancies in Moscow in 2015. The DevSecOps concept arose in response to the growing need for security integration within the DevOps process. The first DevSecOps Summit Conference was held in 2016, and the cultural transition from DevOps to DevSecOps in Russia, in my opinion, happened in 2018. But significant demand for DevSecOps specialists began in 2020. In 2018, Gartner identified the Application Security Testing Orchestration, ASTO, area in its annual Application Security Hype Cycle report. And in 2019, this segment was renamed Application Security Orchestration and Correlation, ASOC. Key technologies and trends by year. 2018. The hype cycle for application security focused on technologies and services to reduce application risks and complexity. 2020. The cycle highlighted emerging cloud security technologies like Cloud Security Posture Management, CSPM, and the introduction of SASE, Secure Access Service Edge, concepts. 2021. The hype cycle introduced significant trends and advancements, application security posture management, and AI-driven security testing, while runtime application self-protection, RASP, was removed, indicating maturity beyond the hype cycle. Summary. Learn to code, at least read at understanding Python, Bash, and infrastructure as code, Terraform, is non-negotiable. Speak the language of developers. Your goal is collaboration, not confrontation. Automate everything. If a security task is manual, it won't scale. Stage 9. Security Champion, AppSec SEC Champ. Having gained extensive technical experience and honed key skills in DevSecOps and AppSec, I was able to apply for a newly created role in the company called Security Champion. This position attracted me with new opportunities, set a new level of responsibility, but also undoubtedly brought freedom of action. As a SEC champ, I could influence technical decisions rather than just administer them as I did before. I moved away from the routine of analyzing SASD/DSD scanner reports and creating tasks to implement fixes in vulnerable code. I began to bring a culture of cybersecurity to the company and became an advocate, a center of competence, an authoritative figure on cybersecurity issues for all teams and their members. The implementation of processes from the BSIM model yielded results. Testing time was reduced by 25% and the speed of applying fixes to the code by 30%. And what else did I learn while working as an engineer? The zoo of open source solutions does not mean free and does not mean quality. Such solutions often require more time to refine and support than commercial products with out-of-the-box functionality. A SOC, followed by ASMP, is a mandatory standard for software development companies that have moved beyond the early stage. Stage 10. Product Security, Prod SEC Manager. Realizing that technical work as an engineer, an executor, a subordinate element of the system, no longer interested me and did not. The logical next step was to move from SEC Champ to Product Security, a position where I was listed as Prod SEC Manager. In essence, I was the main person responsible for the security of a specific product in the company. Essentially, it was one product, a financial exchange, and the company was a startup with a 4-year history. Prod SEC is much broader than classic code security, AppSec, and DevSecOps, application development, and delivery infrastructure. This became a challenge for me. I immersed myself in compliance, a large number of different standards and documents, covering all product security issues at a glance. In a few months, I was able to develop my own product security framework, which became an internal corporate standard. It was a key document describing the entire workflow, controls, reporting areas, domains, and lists of organizational and technical measures aimed at ensuring security. But no one is immune to surprises. One day, out of the blue, I was informed that the project development budgets had been exhausted, there were no more resources, all initiatives were being frozen, and contracts for software purchases and expert reviews from suppliers were being suspended. I wouldn't say I was unlucky. I managed to accomplish a lot, gain new experience, and expanded my knowledge. And I realized that a new stage in my life was beginning, something I had been working toward for so long, but which I had always remembered and kept in my heart. // added material // authoring a legacy, sharing knowledge through books. My journey in sharing knowledge evolved naturally from Telegram posts and articles to authoring comprehensive books. Without publisher backing or investors, I embraced the spirit of self-reliance to create the detailed, practical resources I felt were missing for engineers in the field. Kubernetes Security, Summer 2021, my first foray into self-publishing. I condensed years of hands-on DevSecOps, scripts, and practical notes into a guide written and published in just 3 months. From the text and layout to the accompanying code repository, it was a solo endeavor that proved that strong motivation and valuable content could trump a big publishing house's backing. DevSecOps Notes Box, Community Edition 2023, Extended Edition 2025. This practical handbook is the quintessence of my 5 years of deep experience in AppSec, Cloud SEC, and DevSecOps. The free Community Edition covers 70% of the core topics, sharing the essential knowledge with everyone. The Extended Edition is a premium, subscription-based resource that includes advanced configurations, detailed scripts, illustrated mini-guides, and receives monthly updates. It represents a successful model for sustaining a project while providing immense value. Self-learning. Research, facts, and best practices. Ongoing research beyond cybersecurity. This work is the culmination of my research into cognitive science, optimal learning strategies, and rapid skill acquisition. It synthesizes my experience as a university lecturer, commercial course creator, and mentor into a guide for mastering any new subject, including foreign languages. Contribution to Pentesting, Secrets of Ethical Hacking. BHV Peter Publishing House. I was honored to contribute several authorial chapters to this printed anthology, a collaboration with a traditional publishing house that marked another milestone in my writing career. This path from self-published author to published contributor underscores a core belief that impactful contributions to the community can take many forms, and with enough determination, you can build your own platform for sharing knowledge. Summary. My mindset shifted from finding bugs to preventing bugs, from securing IT infrastructure to securing the code itself, understanding the developer's world, Agile, to-do planner, Kanban, sprints, daily stand-up, AppSec. My role was to enable developers, not to police them. As a product security manager, I now own the security posture of entire products, balancing risk with business goals. Insights. Job offers in the international market are often better than in your home country, except for the USA and some European countries. Do not get involved with government agencies, the military-industrial complex, or the army. This will impose certain restrictions if you decide to immigrate to other places or get a job in international companies. Create content in English. Position yourself as an independent specialist, an independent expert, not an employee of a company, not engaged by anyone. All the best, most relevant materials are written in English. Do not wait for a translation into your native language. Read the original. Professional certification is not a panacea. Get a certificate only if you have free money and time for it. Experience is more important than papers. Practice is better than theory. Do not linger where you are not appreciated. Create value yourself. Your wildest thoughts and dreams are your best projects. Failures. My blog was not very popular for a long time, and the first articles and analytical materials contained stylistic flaws and were not colorfully designed. However, with each publication I grew as a professional, and my quality improved. During the COVID-19 shutdown, I tried to launch my online course on cybersecurity, penetration testing, digital forensics, but the minimum number of listeners from my White 2 Hack Telegram channel was not reached. My expenses exceeded the potential income, and I had to abandon the activity. Some training centers and computer schools, according to the contract, appropriated all the results of my intellectual work, training program, lab work, cases, certification materials, VM images, manuals, handouts. Each year in a new school, I had to create a training course for a job with the possibility of relocation, work visa, employment contract, in a European or American company. A third of the rejections were due to my imperfect English at the time, another third due to geopolitical issues, and the remainder due to the fact that I was unable to negotiate favorable terms for me. Call to action. Learn English. Learn English. Learn English. This is your ticket to the big world. Immigrate if you have the opportunity. Don't waste time. Create content. Generate value. Give more, and you will receive more. Phase 4. The leadership, the CISO role. As we know, the world is small, and the earth is round. The cybersecurity industry is even smaller, and after years of working in it, you get to know the key players in the market and well-known professionals. And then, one day, my reputation began to precede me. A small development studio approached me for help with auditing the security of their IT infrastructure and ensuring the security of their product, FinTech. So I started this internal career track as a specialist and ended it as a CISO. Our product turned into an ecosystem, entered the international market, and got a new headquarters in the UAE. Now I mainly performed representative functions and was more responsible for strategic security management. The size of the company allowed a significant part of the information security functions to be outsourced. And, after changing to the position of CISO, people's attitudes also changed. If you are an authoritative specialist, you receive attention and respect from a narrow audience. But if you are the director of a certain department, you enter a different circle of communication. C-level people, investors, event organizers, PR experts, and people from the sales and marketing spheres. And this is already a global responsibility, managing a team, contractors, participating in budget development, and so on. However, as paradoxical as it may sound, my income did not increase significantly, while my expenses only grew. This was a clear signal that it was time to change companies or look for another way to grow my opportunities. No matter what position you hold as an employee, you are limited by the terms of your contract and your loyalty to management. And after COVID-19, the dispersion, mass layoffs, economic and political sanctions against Russia, and the war in Ukraine were the final straws that made it clear that something had to change. Summary. My mindset changed. Transition from technical leadership to business leadership. Risk management, strategy, communication with the board. Moving from how to secure to why and what to secure based on business objectives. Building and leading a team, managing a budget. Learn business acumen. Understand your company's P&L, goals, and market. Communicate in terms of risk. Translate technical vulnerabilities into business impact. Your network is your net worth. Your ability to solve problems often depends on who you know. Insights. Promotion in position gives growth not only in income, but also in the creation of a personal contribution, value, to the final product/service result. In management, the most important thing is strategic thinking and relationships between team members. The boss is an exploiter. The leader is the most effective member of the team, who has taken on most of the responsibility. A leader without a team is ineffective. A team without a leader is of little use. Personal communication and live meetings are much more important than correspondence and indirect communication. New tasks and difficulties are not problems. They are challenges, a chance to show yourself, to find a solution that does not yet exist. Failures. I wouldn't call it a failure. However, I have personally experienced that even when holding a high position, if the project is not interesting and the tasks are only routine, then over time, for many in this situation, the golden handcuffs, principle works and they tread water for years in the same company, doing uninteresting things and burning their lives without a purpose. Call to action. Grow in position, not only in depth, vertically. Take on leadership positions. Create a financial cushion. Set aside at least 10% for your business, because the market is unstable and you can lose your job. Phase 5. The ultimate test, the startup leap. Finding myself in a new country, in a new community of people who think differently than in my homeland, without the opportunity to apply for a job position. In Russia, relocants are prohibited from working in many commercial and state-owned companies. And in the EU, many employers require office attendance. And in the US, starting in 2022, there were massive layoffs at big tech. With the feeling of a new milestone in my life, I was forced to look for something new, something I had never done before. I always had the idea of a startup, my own business, in my head, but being busy all the time with other things, pursuing other goals and priorities, I put it off year after year. The time has come for this seed to grow and blossom. My long-standing connection with interesting and progressive people led me to the Croc IT Accelerator, where I presented my project, showed blueprints, received support, and was able to assemble the first team to create an MVP. Summary. Mindset change from managing risk to embracing it. Builder versus operator. Product vision, market fit, and relentless execution. No technical routine, like line-level engineer stuff. The decision to leave the comfort of a high-level job and build something from scratch. Defining the vision and mission of your own IT startup. Applying all your accumulated knowledge, technical, product, business, into one focused venture. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Resilience is the most important skill. Validate your idea. You write a line of code. Your past is your superpower. Your unique journey is your differentiator. Insights. A startup, your own business, is not for everyone. You need to have a certain internal state, self-awareness, and inspiration for this activity. A successful startup equals a popular product, value for the user, something that changes life for the better, creates new opportunities, comfort, quality. Be ready to invest all your savings in the startup at first and work very hard. A product/service is an opportunity to change something, to make it better. First of all, it is a solution to a problem/customer request. Money is a reflection of the value that you create. A new country equals new thinking, different priorities, education. You cannot do something new using old thinking or actions that worked in your home country. Failures. I spent most of my own money on the launch and waited a long time for the payback. Call to action. Be prepared for failures. Have a backup plan. Have a reserve fund. Failures are part of the path to success. Communicate more. Meet more new people. Talk about yourself as much as possible. Study new areas. Marketing, presentations, communications, recruitment, financial management. Managerial skills, communications, financial literacy, recruitment, and business qualities, privacy, integrity, respect, compliance with agreements, are more important than technical knowledge. The unremarkable beginning. This isn't the most critical part of the article, and to be honest, I was on the fence about including it. But in the end, I decided to put it in to show you my real starting point, where I was before university, back in my childhood and school days. I wasn't some child prodigy. I didn't have any extraordinary talents or unique opportunities handed to me. I didn't get my first personal computer until I was 15, already in high school. In computer science classes,
Sure,
I wasn't
I could
particularly
write
code
code
and
and
solve basic problems, but my real interest was more in IT tech and gaming. Unlike some of those famous tech whizzes, I didn't have an Atari or a ZX Spectrum as a kid. I wasn't coding from the age of 6. I didn't have a strong circle of people around me to look up to or to teach me about technology from the cradle. I was just an average kid, a regular guy growing up, watching the world around me, and trying to find my way out. The truth is, I started with nothing special going for me. Everything I've accomplished, I achieved as an adult, after I graduated from university, when I was already becoming my own person. I'm incredibly grateful to my father, who gave me the right mindset. He showed me that becoming a skilled specialist was a path to a better life. He taught me that knowledge workers who can generate real value are always in high demand. Back in those days, with IT booming, a lot of people saw their future in computer technology. Almost no one was talking about cybersecurity specifically. Folks outside the industry mostly talked about programming, server administration, software development, maybe building websites, or doing tech support and maintaining local networks. My father installed that crucial mindset in me, which was a major wake-up call. By the time I got to university, my approach to learning was completely different from how it was in school. I became seriously dedicated. I saw my education as a chance to become a true professional, a sought-after expert. It was my path to earning a good living and, ultimately, achieving the dreams I held in my heart. My Siberian launchpad. And I want to take a moment to talk about my hometown, my starting point. I'm adding this in later because it really drives the point home. It doesn't matter where you come from, your circumstances, or how far you are from the world's tech epicenters. Your path is what you make of it. The ball is in your court. My hometown is Irkutsk, deep in Siberia. We're talking about 2,500 miles from the nation's capital, a full 5 time zones away. It's not a big city, with a population of around 600,000. Back in the day, under the Tsars and even later, it was a place where they sent exiles, criminals, runaway Cossacks, political prisoners, and those fleeing the Soviet regime. So, the city has old roots, but compared to the West or the major federal hubs, it's a world apart. We're talking a small population, limited infrastructure, and no Silicon Valley next door. There wasn't a huge pool of highly qualified tech professionals. New tech and trends from the West would take years to trickle down to us. And the weather? Don't get me started. Brutally cold winters, a tough climate, and a very short window of warm weather. And yet, that place gave me so much. I'm incredibly grateful for it. It's where I found my people, my tribe of like-minded geeks. It's where I got my education and where I cut my teeth. I laid the groundwork there for everything that was to come. I'm thankful for my roots, and I'm also thankful for my decision to leave. That journey, from the middle of nowhere to the global stage, made me who I am today. It's living proof that you can start from anywhere, even the middle of Siberia, and make it on your own terms. You just have to want it badly enough. The bottom line. With this section, I want to drive home one point. Even if you didn't have any special talents, a supportive environment, or a head start, even if you got a late start compared to someone who was hacking systems at 12, you still have a shot. Your success depends on you. You can make it. Look at my story. If I made it, so can you. It doesn't matter where you come from. What matters is who you are and what you're determined to achieve. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Chinese proverb. And all you ever have is now. And one more small addition. Despite all the scripts I've written, the KS8 Shield project I developed, and the countless shell scripts I've created to automate Linux routines, I don't consider myself a developer. I'm not a naturally gifted programmer. My process was simple. I surrounded myself with textbooks, manuals, how-to guides, cheat sheets, and checklists. I wrote tons of code, then debugged it for hours, sometimes hunting for a single error all night, until I finally got it working. I don't have any special talents. I just made up for it with hard work. The point of no return. What I'm about to share isn't about cybersecurity, professional skills, or my career trajectory, but I believe it's absolutely critical for gaining clarity, for setting the right priorities, defining your personal values, and finding your true north in life. Not too long ago, I went through at least 2 major episodes that forced me to completely rethink my outlook on life and recalibrate my entire path. I was hospitalized and even spent some time in the ICU. Lying in that hospital bed, I had a lot of time to think about what I'd done in previous years and where my life was currently headed. Here's what I want to say. It doesn't matter if you're a top-tier professional, an expert, a public speaker, a big-shot executive, or a business owner. First and foremost, you are a person. Your family and your kids need a real father. Your wife needs a loving husband. Your friends need a true friend, just a decent, present human being. It's so important not to confuse your life with your resume. The goal is to live a full life, where your career and its achievements are just a part of it, a piece of your overall success, but not the entire point. Value the time you have. As Steve Jobs said, if today were the last day of my life, would I want to do what I am about to do today? Ask yourself that question every morning. Listen to your gut. When you're young, you can burn the midnight oil, skip sleep, eat junk, forget to rest, and still bounce back, managing to get a million things done. But as time goes on, especially after you hit 30, your body needs support. It needs maintenance. If you ignore that, it will catch up to you in a bad way. So, pay attention to your health. Make it a non-negotiable to set aside part of your income to support a healthy lifestyle. Take care of yourself, because if you don't have your health, you have nothing. No professional success, no career milestone will bring you real happiness. Without it, life can feel like a grind. Do things that light you up. Do things that bring you joy, that benefit you, your family, your loved ones, and the world at large. Engage in things that truly matter. Don't just kill time. Don't put your projects off until tomorrow. Tomorrow isn't guaranteed. Do everything you can. Use every chance you get, every single day. That's the power of living in the here and now. Kiss more. Hug more. Don't be shy to tell people what they mean to you. Spend your money less on things, cars, real estate, clothes, and more on experiences, travel, adventures, etc. A call to action. You've got to have a safety net for life's emergencies. Sure, you can rely on government healthcare, but that's a risky bet. Always have your own finances in order so that in a worst-case scenario, you can get emergency help immediately. This isn't about ditching public insurance, but about knowing that at the end of the day, nobody is going to take care of your insurance but you. Find your purpose. Find your why. Imagine you're gone, and you're looking back on your life. How would you have made it the most exciting and fulfilling journey? What mark would you want to leave? What song did you want to sing for the world? Now, go make it happen. Sing that song. Write it. Build it. Conclusion: the journey never ends. Life is an adventure. Every goal achieved is just another stage of this journey, a milestone, but not the final destination. Always move forward, fulfill your mission, realize your potential, give it your all, and win the game. I would like to say in conclusion, continuous learning, sharing knowledge, and embracing new challenges. Your path won't be the same as mine, but I hope seeing my journey proves that with deliberate effort and passion, you can shape your career into anything you want. Now go build something amazing. My journey continues too, and perhaps soon I will tell about it in my new publications. What is next? Follow me on Dev.To, Medium, SEC Exchange, X, and GitHub for more insights and updates on my startup journey. What was the most pivotal moment in your career? Share your stories in the comments below. Explore the repositories I've linked for practical, hands-on knowledge. Let's stay in touch.